And hello. How are you? Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast Show. It's usually the Absolutely Premier League show, but there's no Premier League and we're talking Champions League. So the Absolute Champions League show tonight. And we're going to talk. The season isn't over. We're just going to carry on talking football because it's what we do. So I've got some champions of my own tonight to join me to talk about that, some exciting football transfers, some England team, other stuff, don't know. We'll see what happens as we go through the podcast. So, of course, I have to get the now completed university for the summer. Rebecca, can you have a life back? How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, year 2 of uni done. All assignments passed, so very happy. Can relax now because them last 3 were just. They were there, like, you know, that the date for like the mark coming back was just hanging over me. But yeah, got them all back, all sorted. So yeah, can enjoy a month of no football because Scottish Prem, well, not Scottish Prem, but the Scottish Cup starts in July, so we'll be back next month with the roundup.
Oh God, that's true. I forgot the Scottish League Cup's like it is mid-July, isn't it? It's not actually that far away. We will be back, yeah.
The first match is the 12th of July.
There we go. God. So if you need to know what happens between Dumbarton and Wraith Rovers, this is your podcast. If you're missing football and you just need to know who's going to qualify for the last 32 of the Scottish Cup, there you go. We'll be ready. And it's not just the wonderful Rebecca with us. It's Grimmy's here. If you're on audio, Grimmy is wearing a Batman t-shirt. That wasn't just me having a moment on the pod, although it does happen. So, Grimmy, I've given out the bat signal, and you're here. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thought there was going to be a crime to solve, but unfortunately, it's just this podcast to get through. So, yeah, no punching criminals tonight, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing magic, thank you. Yeah, it's been a getting used to this sort of summer's coming, isn't it? Football's dying down, other stuff's happening. Like, yeah. I'm getting used to it, but I thought we'd have a break. But there's so much content that we've got to get out. I'm actually busier than I was a month ago.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. There's plenty to do. But there's also some wonderful people in our chat. Our chatteroo is here, of course. I have the wonderful Aled. Evening to you, Aled. We have Sean. Good evening. Hope all is well. Good evening to you. Things are good. Good evening as well to Graham. Graham, of course, the now championship Charlton Graham as well. So he's still on an absolute high. And Sean has also mentioned, yes, Rebecca has mentioned off air that there is Accrington versus Everton in a pre-season friendly. So, you know, you've got all, but you just need them and Dundee in a tournament, don't you? In a pre-season tournament.
So, who would you support in that then, Rebecca?
Well, because
here we go, 2-team supporter, and then it goes.
Because it's Aki and away tickets will be horrendous to try and get with Everton. I'll be in the Aki end, but I've already decided I'll be in an Aki shirt with an ex-Everton player on the back, so I cover both.
You're sorted, which is the better way to go than a half and half scarf, which should be banned from all levels of football, even if you support the team.
I will never get a half and half scarf.
You can get half and half shirt, says Graham. There you go. Well,
I'm all right, thanks.
Not sure that's a thing that's ever going to catch off, but you never know. Half and half scarves are a thing, but not for me. Not for me. But what was for me this weekend was a wonderful Champions League final. If you're from Paris or a Paris Saint-Germain fan, I'm sure if you're from Inter Milan, maybe not so good. But Paris Saint-Germain won their first UEFA Champions League, absolutely pummeling Inter Milan, Rebecca. Were you expecting a closer final? Did you think Inter, the way they put it on, the way they handled Barcelona as well in that tight game would do better? Or was this the PSG steamroller you thought it would be?
I think last week on the podcast I just said I just wanted it to be a close game because I hadn't watched any of the Champions League. So it was one of them where the first one to watch, I was like, oh, it'll be really close. We might even get extra time penalties. You never know. But then PSG happened and I don't think anyone expected a 5-0. It was one of them. Inter just couldn't get into the match, and fair play to PSG. It is quite nice to see as well, like academy players coming through for PSG now and getting on the score sheet, because we haven't seen that in past years with like the bigger names that they've had in their team. It has been quite limited as to who's been able to get into it. So it is quite nice to be able to see a good PSG side competing at the level that they are now, and then being able to like just like, I don't know, like experiment with what they've got rather than like having to spend millions and millions and millions to try and be able to get what we've seen in the past.
It's nice. It's a new age PSG, isn't it? Enrique's kind of gone for the team ethic of building a team up together as kind of a generation rather than those superstars, and it's certainly they were absolutely on fire in that final there. So I mean, Grimmy, there's some fantastic players in Paris Saint-Germain, and they all seem to be for a final played. It wasn't overawed. They were sort of very calm. They expressed themselves at the same time, made the right decisions. Who's some of your favourites? Do you like a Doué? Surely a Desiree Doué is high on your list. What a final that man had.
Yeah. I mean, how old is he? 18? I think he is. He's 18, quite young, 19, isn't he?
Maybe,
He's like 18, 19. Like, for a kid that age to be playing in the biggest club game there is, and to have that cool head on his shoulders that he did, it was unbelievable. I mean, we praised Lamine Yamal, quite rightly so, for what he's done over the past couple of years, but I think Doué needs his flowers, really, for that performance. But in terms of like the overall PSG team, I think you have to give praise to pretty much everyone, because winning that competition for the first time as they've done, and like the first French team since I think Marseille early 90s, and doing it the way they've done it against an Inter team that were no slouches. It's not like they were playing like, you know, a Man United team who they could basically roll over anytime they wanted. Like it's an Inter team who missed out on the title the last day of the season, so, and they'd knocked out Barcelona themselves. So for them to go and basically have it won in the space of the first half was quite frankly remarkable. And yeah, they should rightly get all the plaudits for how they played that game, because even though it was a one-sided affair, the football they played was breathtaking and was brilliant to watch.
It was, and they came out the traps absolutely flying, very early on. They set the tone, they set the tempo. Enrique had really got into them, the right game plan. Inter were chasing shadows. Sean says Inter still in dreamland, which is the reason that they didn't turn up, apparently. I mean, it's been a tough week for Inter, losing the Italian Serie A as well to McTominay FC. To be fair, you know, you have to handle that. That's just something that happens. But it was a fantastic performance. As you said, they're very exciting to watch, and there's just so many players in that team that you're like, oh, he's good. Oh, he's good. And then they still have players like Barclay on the bench, and their young kid that came on who scored. To be fair, the guy who scored the fifth goal, I forget his name off the top of my head, but someone will remind me in the chat. The celebration was literally like a kid at 18. It would just be like, oh my God, I've scored in the Champions League final. Oh my God, I've scored in the Champions League final. And all that realisation at once. Rebecca, would that have been you scoring in a Champions League final? That celebration?
It was fully just didn't know what to do. It was like, what celebration does he do? I'll just sprint off. I think that would be anyone in that situation of if you score, you're just going to be like, you'd had everything planned in your head of what celebration you would do, but it just wouldn't come off and you just run around.
It was completely one of that. And of course, Inter Milan just didn't turn up, didn't click. The game went away from them, and they couldn't get any kind of foothold, you said, whatsoever in the game. The defense had a bit of a mare for a team that had been defensively very strong, and they kind of looked like an aging team out there, didn't they? I mean, I'm surprised, Grimmy, when I looked at it and you're thinking Mkhitaryan and Darmian are in that squad. I mean, we remember them from Manchester United years ago, that kind of, but you know, the rest of them just weren't able to kind of create anything at all. Do you think Inter have had a very good few years, haven't they, to be fair? I think Inzaghi's done a great job, and that shouldn't be taken away because they've been battered by a very, very, very good PSG side in the final.
Yeah.
Do you think this is now they need to rebuild that squad to take it the next step? Is that the end that we're going to see of some of those players?
Yeah, I mean, I know Inzaghi's been reported as of leaving today. I think on BBC they reported that he was going. So, and there was rumours, I think, before the final that it might be his last match if he lost. But yeah, I mean, you look at, like you say, Darmian, Mkhitaryan, Acerbi, who's obviously the hero in the Barcelona game, who got the equaliser to take it to extra time. He's like 37 himself, and he's had a hell of a journey as well. If you ever want to read about someone's journey in football, read his story, because good Lord. But yeah, I think obviously they have good young talent in there, but they probably need to refresh on the more experienced side, because yes, while they've got to the Champions League, there's only so many times they can carry you. And I feel like they've got to a point where you've just missed out on Serie A and you've got to the final Champions League, but you weren't able to hang with a much younger, more energetic team. And I feel like that's probably what they're going to need to add in the near future if they're going to, take it to the next step, basically.
This is it. They will need that. And a new manager will obviously maybe have different ideas. And, what about a bit of a Neil Warnock or a Sean Dyche giving it a go in Italy? Is that what that's what they need, surely? That would be a fantastic combination. Warnock in Serie A. I think it'd be perfect.
I would love to see it. It would be fantastic entertainment. But with Italy, it's...
Do you think he's not on the list?
No, weirdly, I don't think he is. But it's a rotating cast in Italy with the top managers. We've just seen Allegri go back to AC Milan after being all over the shop in terms of managerial jobs. So, I mean, they'll probably pick up someone who we've seen before in the Italian league. I mean, did Sarri just go back to Lazio?
Sarri's just gone to Lazio with the best return video.
Yeah.
Just have the door with smoke coming out.
Yeah.
But then I've also seen, is it the Atalanta Gasperini? Is it who's gone from there? So, and he's done a phenomenal job with Atlanta to turn them into a regular Champions League. So someone like that. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? We'll cover it because we love a bit of European football. We don't just do Scotland. We do Italy, Germany, France, Holland. We do the whole lot. And we also have in the chat as well, Lee for All League Adventures to join us from our non-league show. Hello to Lee, who's, by the way, check his YouTube channel out, which is absolutely flying. Congratulations to him and 4,000 subscribers for Lee this week. So very excited. Congratulations to you. Graham says he swear that he heard Josh sighing with that score. Which score are we talking about? I can't see it in the chat. Tell me, Graham, what are we referring to there? I might have missed it. David says a team of 7 or 8 will mostly always beat a 2/3 individual team. There you go. Not just because of the number of players, but because they are a team versus individuals, I think is the point. Nick says, Due the youngest to score a brace in the European final. And yes, Seni Miyulu from Graham, that was it. And Aled, yes, we all know the celebration. Just look at his face. Fantastic commentary we have there. And the wonderful, we're going to come on to transfers later, but no football transfer that we're going to talk is going to top this one, because the newest member of the team, Treaty, who's joined our lower league team, is in the chat. Hello to you. Hope you're very well. Welcome, of course, to the team officially. Graham says there's only so many times a player can carry you, a bit like Bruno at United then.
Steady, Graham. Be very careful.
I think you'll find, Graham, that just like Rebecca, we're joint top of the Premier League. So, respect. Yeah. David thinks that Manchester United have bought Inzaghi, pushing for a top 15. What's all this Man United attack? Look at this. GT as well saying hello to everybody. Lee, Big Sam. Yeah, Big Sam. Get Big Sam Allardyce over there. Why not?
I thought you were saying Big Sam, big up Sam, you being manager.
No. There's no way I was getting a compliment for hosting. No chance. He's got used for being a Man United fan. I didn't get any compliments for doing any of this. But yeah, back to that final. 5 goals. So it's the biggest Champions League victory in ever. And Luis Enrique, Grimmy's done a fantastic job off the back of what he did previously with Barcelona. Where do we rank Luis Enrique now in terms of the global manager setting? It's got to be up there now.
I mean, I always rated him even at Barcelona, and when he's been elsewhere. I think to do what he's done at Barcelona with all of the players and the ego involved is one thing, especially being after Pep is one thing. But then to rebuild PSG when you've had the Mbappe, you've had Messi, you've had Neymar, and that lack of team cohesion, really, it was like, I can't remember who it was in the comments, I apologize, but they said it there. Having 7 or 8 players playing together is always going to win over 2 or 3. David said it, yeah. And he's exactly right. And that was the problem PSG had. They had too many overinflated egos and superstars, and Enrique's turned that around, brought in youth products, and got players working the tail off for the team, and it's paid dividends. And really, with the team that they've got, they could go on for years on end now, getting far in the Champions League and maybe winning more European competitions. But to answer the question, I would personally put him, if he keeps doing this with PSG, I think he'll be a top 10 coach ever. Maybe top 5. If he keeps PSG on this road and they keep winning Champions Leagues, I think with what he's done with Barcelona and what he could potentially do with PSG, he could be up there.
Well, this is true. It's a very difficult team when you look at the youth of it to think that they're not still going to be around. And if they continue to go on with the confidence they've got of it, they're going to be trouble. They're going to be trouble. David says, "Cheers, Sam. Remember, it's only banter." I know it's fine. It's all right with banter. We'll all have a good laugh on the pod. It's not a problem. I'm okay with the banter. As Aled has realised with the cheeky AC Milan shirt on tonight, because I don't have a PSG one, so I was like, "What's the office? What's the closest I can go to support them?" While the rivals of the team that lost is pretty fair. Subliminal messages indeed, Graham. Yeah. So PSG could be at the top of the game for a number of years. Of course, it's the first one, and it's very difficult. Very few teams have ever done Champions Leagues back to back, and it is very difficult to do, no matter how fantastic they are. Let's not forget that until was it halftime the Manchester City game when they were down and in a real doldrums, they could have been out very, very early on or in trouble. Yeah. They also, Liverpool, etc., and teams like that sort of being around. It wasn't the best Real Madrid side that we saw this season, and they were sort of handled. So you'd expect that they'll be coming back and doing different things. But they do fantastic managers. Nick says Luis Enrique up there with the elite. No one saw that result coming, but he totally deserved it for making that team tick and be ruthless. Yeah, fantastic. From Luis Enrique. So Rebecca, with Paris Saint-Germain, you think they've won the Champions League. They can go off and enjoy themselves, but no, they're off to the Club World Cup, everyone's favourite tournament coming on this summer, just to bide the time before the Scottish League Cup comes back. What do you think their mentality is going to be? Is going to be, let's go and win that as well? Or do you think it's going to kind of be like, let's have a bit of a party and see what happens? Because I imagine Luis Enrique is the kind of bloke that's going to be like, no. Let's do the world as well. Let's take them all on.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a bit of both. I mean, like, they've won the Champions League, which can be deemed like one of the biggest trophies. So it's one of them. They've done that, and then the Club World Cup with the timing of it as well. It's just going to be one of them. It'll be interesting to see who all teams play, like how many we are going to see like first teamers within these squads, because it is just a very random time for it now, so it will be interesting. But I think it might just be one where it's going to be used as pre-season more than anything for quite a few, especially with like your PSG. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But they could go on and storm it and go and win it because they've got the bounce of the Champions League. But then you've also got the idea of fatigue fitting because they have only just finished their season.
It's been a long season for them with that Champions League. They do have a fantastic depth of squad though, so you probably see some different players and be like, oh yeah, all these guys are pretty good as well. They're pretty handy. We haven't even talked about Kvaratskhelia. He was brilliant. Vitinha was at Wolves, absolutely running the game in a Champions League final. Quality player alongside Fabian Ruiz, quality player. Then they've got this centre back. Was it Pacho? Yeah, he looked pretty phenomenal. Donnarumma's in goal, and he's only 25, so he's going to be around for a while. Hakimi, he's probably the best right back in the world. Nuno Mendes, he's been pretty good in the knockout stages. It's just talent and quality everywhere.
You worded
that's before you mentioned. Yeah, and we've not even mentioned Ousmane Dembele. It's just quality. But Graham asks, he's done it all with Barca and PSG, but can he win at Stoke on a rainy Tuesday in January? Well, can Charlton win at Stoke on a rainy Tuesday in January? We'll be asking that question on Thursday, Graham. You have the opportunity, you see, to do something that Luis Enrique has not next season. So, unless you don't play them on a Tuesday in January, then we might have to change that a little bit. Fixtures come out. Who knows? Look out for Charlton away at Stoke on Tuesday in January, and then all we need is the rain, which is a guarantee. But something that was beautiful, Grimmy, was that tifo to Luis Enrique's daughter, Zana, of course. There's lots of the images came by of him planting the flag with Barcelona when they did the treble with his daughter, who obviously tragically passed away years ago. And it was lovely. I think that the fact that shows the affiliation, doesn't it, with the fans, that they did that for him as much as it was their celebration. Massive moment for the club, but to honour him in that way. What did you make of all of that?
Oh, I mean, yeah. If stuff like that doesn't pull at your heartstrings, I don't think you're human, really, are you? No, obviously in the build up to the final, there was a lot of talk about Enrique and obviously his story and everything that happened with his family, and rightly so. But again, it was another reason why I wanted PSG to win, because I like Enrique as a character, but I also like him as a person. Like, he speaks honestly all the time about whatever topic he's talking about, and honestly, when he was at Barcelona, I always liked Barcelona winning, even though everyone was probably sick to death of them winning. When Enrique was there, because it was Enrique, I wanted him to keep doing well. But yeah, seeing that tribute on Saturday, it was just it's just one of those moments where, if you told me this was the PSG we were going to see from like a few years ago to now, I would never have believed you. But it just shows you the job he's done in bringing both the team and the fans together and creating this support, which we don't really see on a daily basis now with the bigger teams, unless they're getting major success. But I think even if they'd lost that final, I think the fans would have still been with Enrique and the players, and that just shows you how good a job he's done, really.
Yeah, they recognise that this project is something they want to get behind, and that they finally got an identity, it feels like, with Paris Saint-Germain. I think I saw a few interviews before where in France and that, even in France, and people they've always been like that, oh, here we go, you want to be the new Galacticos, the financial money, and they've been ridiculed to an extent across Europe and in France, disliked for that. But I think the team's been a lot more likeable because of Enrique, because of the players seem to be more humble, wanting this kind of work ethic. And, it's ironic, just saying, it's ironic. They won the Champions League just after Kylian Mbappe left last summer to go and win the Champions League. What a strange thing to happen. So, Grimmy, can they go on and dominate now? Because it's easy for people to say this team's for years and all the rest of it, but football's not always that easy, and the Champions League is very, very difficult to win. Have they got the stones to do it? What else do they do in the transfer market? Because that team's pretty well set. How do you see this now going for PSG in years to come?
I think if the next sort of 5-6 years we don't see them in the Champions League semi-finals at least 80% of the time, I would be shocked, because I think the players they have are going to be mega expensive to buy for teams anyway. So whatever they recruit from that, they're going to be able to bring in quality, and they'll already have a bunch of prospects in the pipeline, like they've been doing over the past 10 years, really. So it's like, even if they lost one or two of the key players, like if, say, like a mega offer came in for Dembele, and I would have confidence in Enrique and co to bring the next one in, and for them just to slot in and do the job. Whilst last season we were saying, well, if Mbappe goes, is that PSG done? I have more confidence now that if they lose one of the so-called bigger players they've got, I think I have a lot more confidence that they're going to go about it the right way and just take it in the stride. And I'm not necessarily saying they're going to do what Madrid did in the 2010s and go win 3 in a row, but they should be one of the favourites for next year, if not the next 2, 3, 4 years, in my opinion. Could
be a dominance of PSG. We'll have to see. But for now, the first Champions League winners with PSG's name on that trophy. Fantastic. Just waiting for Everton's time. Surely, Rebecca, you're the next one to go on there, no doubt. Surely now the Moyes revolution is in. Can you Everton versus PSG final in a couple of years? Get in there next year after. Why not?
Why not? I did have a thought. When they're engraving the trophy, and I don't know if I'm the only one that has thought this, but what would happen if they spelt it wrong? Because it's not like a pencil.
I thought that.
Because you can't just rub it out. But then I also had the thought of, well, what happens if the pen malfunctioned and then just went straight down the trophy, so there's just a long line?
I was thinking, imagine the pressure, because you don't just ruin it forever. Like if you do it, and isn't there? I think someone spotted, isn't there on the trophy or something? Liverpool are now Liverpool FC and Liverpool from before or something like that, and it stands out like a sore thumb. Like it's very like, yeah, it's pressure, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't want to do it. And I've always wondered, like, what do they? You know, like sometimes we've had on the final Premier League day where it's like the trophy, you don't know which way it's going. Is it in a helicopter? Is that a thing? Is that a?
So usually it's
don't they?
they've got a replica. So they have one. So where they think it's going to go, or where it's most likely, they'll keep it there, and then they'll have a replica waiting on standby at the other place, so that you're not like stood waiting for an hour for a trophy to arrive. And then obviously once they go back to wherever they are in terms of the home stadium for like the lap of honor or open tour bus or whatever, they'll give them the proper trophy then.
Go see. This is what we come for the knowledge, and we've got knowledge in the chat as well. Nick says it's a stencil to write the team names, but that can still be messed up. Like, you know, anyone can, you know, if you can't keep within the lines, like you're going to be in trouble with a stencil.
And then
I've just got this image. Sorry,
stencil isn't straight, and then you end up writing it like diagonally.
Yeah, sometimes you do it. It's on a slant, and you go, "Oh no, I've tailed off." Like, yeah.
I've just got this image of the camera panning on the next Champions League final, and then we just see Sam in his hands like...
You won't be able to watch it the same again without fully inspecting whether they're spelling it right now that we've said it.
This is it, but they've got stencils for everybody, apart from Arsenal. Never mind. They've got plenty of European stencils. And as Nick says as well, 5 finals at Munich, 5 different new winners. Munich is the place for new winners, apparently, because obviously Chelsea did the same thing, didn't they, when they were in Munich? So that's an incredible stat as well, new winners. We love a good stat. Why don't we love a good stat? But I think, yeah, Champions League, there we go. That was the curtain to the season. Everything is now done. So we're now officially into the transfer window, positivity, hopes and beliefs. After silly preseason tournaments have been done, Man United beat Hong Kong, just saying, beat a country. So, you know, things are on the up.
All the way is up, baby.
The only way is up. So we're now going to talk some transfer. David's here straight off the bat. So I'll ask you both, who's got the best deal? Frimpong to Liverpool, Kelleher to Brentford, or Trent to Madrid? And will Liverpool we'll come on to the second question in a minute, but of those 3 transfers, Rebecca, Frimpong, Liverpool, Kelleher, Brentford, or Trent to Madrid, who's got the better deal?
I don't know. I mean, there's like an argument for them all in a way. And I know that that's just going to be me sitting on the fence with this because of my bias against Liverpool, but you know.
Bias? What bias would that be?
I don't know. But it's like Madrid have like paying 10 mil for Trent to be able to get him early for the Club World Cup. Like the fact that Trent has gone for 10 mil is madness. The fact that like he is a very talented, like I'm saying this all through gritted teeth, he is a very talented player, and he is going to be one that could well be missed at Liverpool. I know like you've had all the controversy with him leaving, so fans have turned quite quickly against him, but it is one of them where I do think him going to Madrid could be a good one, but then also it could still backfire because we've seen moves like this to the bigger teams that don't always come off like they're expected, so it'll be interesting to see. And then you've got how do you pronounce his name, because I keep saying it wrong?
Frimpong.
Him. He is a decent signing for Liverpool. I think he has been like a right wing back for Leverkusen. So he is one of them. He is quite quick. And I hate having to say this, but you've got to say it in like he is a talented one and he could fit in quite well, especially giving Conor Bradley competition in that position as well. It'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works within the team. And then Kelleher to Brentford, that's going to be another interesting one. Again, we've not really seen him too much in the Prem, so to be able to see what he can do at Brentford will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think Kelleher's a real good pickup because obviously it looks like Flecken's going to buy Leverkusen for around 10 million, I think, and then they're saying 18 million for Kelleher. I was surprised he's played like 65 games for Liverpool, like with the Alisson's injuries. I mean, he's 2 EFL Cup finals he's had as well, and he's always put on a really good show. So I think, and to be fair to the lad, he said, Liverpool obviously at the moment are kind of the creme de la creme, as much as we don't like it on this podcast with the three of us at this moment in time. But they've won the league. And he says, well, but I want to be number one. I want to be number one. He's Republic played 22 times for the Republic of Ireland and he wants to be number one. So I don't blame him for the move. Frimpong's interesting, I think, because he's a very different player, Grimmy, to Trent Alexander-Arnold, isn't he? He's a bit more kind of off the ball athletic, but he's not going to be. Do you think this is going to be an evolution of what Slot's trying to do, or forced evolution? Because Trent going was a bit of a saga, wasn't it?
I don't know. I think Frimpong's going to work well. I think again, I think we're going to see quite a few players leave Liverpool this year, and Slot's going to get more of his players in because again, they didn't buy anyone really last year. So if there's ever more of a time for him to keep putting his stamp on the team, it's now. But I think going back to that question that got asked by David before, I think Frimpong will end up being the best one because I think athletically he'll suit the Premier League, and if we've seen it with Slot that he can get players to play the way he wants it to and be successful, and I think Frimpong will be a success at Liverpool. Of course, Bradley I think has a chance of getting a few more games next season now as well, so it'll be interesting to see how he kicks on, but. Yeah, I think whoever Liverpool bring in, obviously they've been linked with Wirtz as well, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be another good season for Liverpool because I think if I said it in the podcast, like in the middle of the season, but if there's two of the three players that I'd want to keep, they've kept the two that I would want to keep. Mm-hmm. I know there's the Liverpool boyhood dream of Trent, but. There are still weaknesses to his game, and I don't see that with Van Dijk and Salah. Like they are the creme de la creme, like you said. Like they're gonna carry Liverpool to more trophies. Whilst I don't really see Trent doing that. As good a player as he is, I just don't think he's as important as the other two.
They're definitely at the peak, aren't they, of their powers, and as you said, the effect that they have. So, I mean, Salah's. The stats tell you everything you need to see, as well as he was last season on Van Dijk. We've seen what Liverpool were like with Van Dijk, and it's chalk and cheese. He's so important to that team. So, yeah, to maintain those two, and I think their transfer business so far is looking really good. Frimpong, I think, is a good addition for a decent price that they've got him on that. I think it was a release fee, actually, doesn't they got him on? And then also, as you come on to, Florian Wirtz, which is a very interesting one. Because obviously last summer, Liverpool fans and obviously Josh was here and he was not happy at the start of the season because FSG weren't doing anything. He was getting quite frustrated because he was desperate for a DM. I mean, and then what we found out was Gravenberch is pretty good in midfield and they managed to go with that. So obviously it's changed their thinking because they were talking about Zubimendi last year. Arsenal are now pretty much there with Zubimendi. I don't think it's been formally announced, but it's pretty much done and dusted by the looks of it for 50 odd million. So they turned their attention to Florian Wirtz, who is a fantastic midfielder, great attacking outputs as well. He's had at Leverkusen, worked in that Xabi Alonso team, and very different, Rebecca, because they look like they're spending a lot of money as well. It looks like they're talking about sort of 100 million Oscar-esque. It's sort of, are you concerned the business Liverpool are doing that we could be looking at a good era?
Yeah. No, it's one of them where, as you said, there wasn't many transfers made last season. It was more like trying to find like what he wanted from the team, and to say that he was able to then win the league in like his first season, fair play. But it's one of them, it's like now they've been able to see what they can use to further strengthen an already strong team. Just make sure that it's not a strong team when you play us, so please.
This is it, that first home game at the new stadium. Very interesting, Merseyside. The last one was quite interesting. If it's anything like that, we will take it. But Florian Wirtz, Grimmy, what do you think on that one? Very, very good player. Perfect for Liverpool in terms of completing that midfield, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Again, you never know how a player's going to adapt to a different league and a different style, but everything I've seen of him suggests that he'll be absolutely fine. And again, it's another sign that Liverpool are going to be making the right decisions when it comes to transfers, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I can't remember the people's names, but they've obviously brought back in the transfer team that were in charge when Klopp first came in, and obviously brought in Salah and Alisson and Van Dijk and people like that. So if they're now back in charge of transfers and they're getting Wirtz over the line and Frimpong and potentially a couple of others as well, then the future's looking pretty rosy for Liverpool, really. And they're probably going to be the envy of the league with some of their transfers, I would imagine.
It's looking a good start. So let us know in the chat as well if you've heard any transfer news or rumours, or your team are doing anything in the transfer market that has particularly excited you. We will be coming to our teams in a minute. Don't worry, we will talk our teams, but we'll go around the rest of the Prem because Grimmy and I have been a bit busy the last couple of days. So we'll go around the rest of the Prem so far in terms of other stuff that's happened. Chelsea look to be on the verge, Grimmy, of Liam Delap. Liam Delap was courted by a number of players. I know we spoke about it, Rebecca, a while back, hoping that we were both in the run, but it looks like Chelsea's the man. 30 million, sort of decent fee. Can you see him working at Chelsea, or do you think Chelsea are going to try and get someone else as well? We know what they like to do in the transfer market, but will they do it this year?
The answer is both. I think he can work there because of who's going to be behind him. He's going to get a lot of service. He's going to have Cole Palmer setting him up. He's going to have Neto and all these guys giving him great service. So if you can score, was it 12 goals or something like that for Ipswich in the league? If you can do that for Ipswich, that should translate really for Chelsea as well. But yeah, knowing Chelsea, they'll probably buy another 2 or 3 strikers that they don't need, and then they'll not get a game. So yeah, it's a strange one. I personally, if I was a player, I don't think Chelsea would be the choice that I would go to. Like if I was in a relegated team looking to get back into the Premier League, I would probably be going somewhere like that Everton, which is sort of that in between of, at the minute, obviously, not saying in a few seasons they can't be like a top team again, but at the minute it's that sort of step up. They're a bigger profile club, and of course you could be part of the journey of moving them up the table. Whilst with Chelsea, it's kind of like, are they going to be good next year, or are they going to fall off, or are they going to be somewhere in between, or are they going to win the title? Like, we don't know which Chelsea we're going to get from week to week, never mind season to season. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one to watch, but I hope for Delap's sake it goes well, because I do think there is a good Premier League striker in there.
Certainly, yeah, and the goals off his first season, very impressive. Nicholas Jackson is still there. You know, he was in and out, but at times, you know, I still think there's something there in Nicholas Jackson as well as kind of in the squad. Nick says that Mike Mannion is open to moving to Chelsea. He'd be the 10th goalkeeper on the books. Well, that's one way to keep a clean sheet, isn't it? Just get 10 of them in there and just, you know, 10 of them are Liam Delap up front. There you go. New plan for Chelsea. They do like a signing. But they've got a bit of pull this season as well, because it's really Champions League and a young side on the up. So it's quite exciting for them, for Chelsea. Anything else that's happened? Should we go to Everton, Rebecca? What's going on at Everton? Because Carlos Alcaraz is back. He's returned. He's also in the French Open quarterfinal. But your Carlos Alcaraz,
which he's won, I think.
Yeah. Has he won the quarterfinals? Of course he has. He's on clay. It's Le Franc-Champon. Rebecca, tell me about Everton's transfer window so far. What's happening? Who's coming? Who's going?
Yeah, so as I mentioned last week on the podcast, we announced our loan players that were going back, and Carlos, or Charlie, I think we've ended up calling him, Alcaraz, was announced that we were in talks to try and sign him. So we have now announced that he is our player, which I think Everton fans are really happy with. He was a good signing for us, came in, gelled with the team really well, and he gave everything that he needed to, and he did become quite a bit of a fan favourite as well. And every Everton fan was saying, like, right, if we can sign him, then be a good one, especially as we still don't know really what's going on with Calvert-Lewin, our attacking situation. I mean, Beto don't think anyone expected him to do what he did this season. But if we can have a season like that again with him, then you just never know with Everton. It's the most random team possible, but anything can happen. We are now also just waiting on Idrissa Gana Gueye to sign the contract. There are a lot of rumours at the minute just saying that talks are going really well, and he is expected to sign, which we do need him. We do need him in the midfield.
He's the tackle king, Rebecca, as we said last week. Does he have a clause in his contract for most tackles in a season? He gets an additional bonus because he'll be minted.
I think he might add that one this season. But no, so I think it's one of them. We need him, especially with Doucouré leaving. It would leave a massive gap. But the partnership between Idrissa and James Garner, that has worked really well this season. So to keep that going, and I think it would be hard to see Idrissa go again. Like, we've been through the heartbreak once of him leaving, and then he came back. So it's like, if we can keep him for longer, and I feel like he's one that will be nice to see him move on with Everton into the new stadium, which will forever be called Everton Stadium. I think every fan is still on with that. But yeah, that's mainly what's happening with Everton. We are being linked with every player possible. I think we've been linked with a Liverpool player this week, which didn't expect, and it was a bit random. So that's a bit interesting. But it'll be interesting to see who Moyes does bring in and what his plan is, especially with Kevin Thirlwell has now left. He has joined Rangers, which is like quite... it wasn't a shock. I think we knew this at like mid-season, but he has done really well with us in terms of getting transfers in and getting deals done. There is a lot of interest on Jared Branthwaite at the minute, as expected. That happens every season. And it is, I think it's between Chelsea and Tottenham, the two that are after him. Man United for once aren't. So thank you both for staying away from Jared. But Moyes and Jared have said that he's not going anywhere. Our team is going to be built around Pickford, Jared and Tarkowski for next season, which is exciting for Everton fans. I do think a lot are looking at trying to get a right back in, because we are lacking in that area, especially with unknown. Seamus Coleman is going to be with the team. We just don't know how, and he's not really now able to play every match, so we may need someone to fill in, because Nathan Patterson, again, he's had injury issues this season. The Liverpool player that we have been linked with is Ben Doak, a winger.
Okay. Yeah, he's been on loan at I forget which championship club it was now. He played quite well for him. Was he at Borough? Was it Borough for a bit last season? He had a good stint, I know that, but Liverpool to Everton's probably not a problem for distance and location, but I would imagine some other issues there.
For safety, hit me.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's everything with Everton.
That's Everton. And of course, it wouldn't be transfer window without a Graham transfer pun from loan to permanent signing. Everton's showing that there is no escape from Alcaraz. Very good. Look there, Graham's not.
Graham.
It's the summer, but Graham's not off. He is not off. Not off form at all. He's still giving us the puns throughout the transfer window. Nick is in with the Nottingham Forest, and I was going to ask you about this actually, because there's a cheeky plug for myself. I did a video about Club World Cup actually yesterday, which was Botafogo's group in Group B, and when I looked at their key players, all of them seemed to be linked to Nottingham Forest. So I was wondering if there was any truth to those rumours. It appears potentially so. Igor Jesus, Quabano and Jaya Cunha for a combined fee of 34 to 40 million euros, or 28.6 million to 33 million pounds, if that's how you prefer your transfers. Very intriguing. I presume, you have a link with Botafogo from Nottingham Forest. Is it an affiliate or something, or you have a scout? I just presume maybe just love a bit of Botafogo. So why not? There you go. Some Brazilians on their way over to the Premier League. We love a good Brazilian in the Premier League. So Grimmy. Manchester United. People love writing about Manchester United in the transfer market, as we know.
Doesn't necessarily have to be the transfer market, as we've learned over the past season.
Yes.
Samuel. It's
if you have a database of every player Manchester United are linked to over the transfer window, you probably have a database of every football player in history, because that tends to be what happens. It's very difficult to read between the nonsense and the truth, etc. However, there has been a lot of Romano activity and a lot of David Ornstein activity, who are my two go-tos when I'm looking for that absolute pure, this is transfer stuff. So we'll start from the beginning. Matheus Cunha, Grimmy. It's done. It's in. It's happened. Agreed. Before the end of the season, 62 million.
Yeah.
Early thoughts?
Good. I think
yes, he says.
Yes, finally. A bit of positivity, I think, was what I was thinking is, okay, we're actually doing something early and we're getting it out of the way. Yeah, I mean, from what he's done at Wolves, I think he'll be a good addition. I'm just hoping he doesn't come into Man United and it becomes what it has been for other players in the past 10 years, where they come in with a bit of hype and a bit of form, and then within a few weeks they look a shadow of the former selves, and we go, what have we done to this poor man? But yeah, a good signing.
Yeah, he's an exciting player. Stats in the Premier League very good. Fits what we want to do in terms of our system. I think, as you said, like the worry is that anybody that we buy, you worry just graveyards that player for a while. So you worry about him coming in. But of course, they've had a good fantasy Premier League, so that's always a good start. Checking those out.
Do you think that, like, you've seen the way that he's been this season with his discipline and like the disciplinary issues that he's had? Do you think that'll be an issue for him at United, or do you reckon that will be put behind him?
We need characters, Rebecca. I think we need characters, and hopefully, we can, as long as he kind of focuses it in the right way. Yeah, it is a worry. I'll be honest. There has been one or two moments, but they can't. Sometimes you have those players on the edge group. We've had them in the past, haven't we? Let's be honest. Yeah. Cantona wasn't exactly
Cantona, Keane.
Yeah.
We've had a bunch where they have treaded the line, and as long as they get you results, you put up with the nonsense. That's always been the way it's been. Like David says, the red mist can appear. Hopefully, the red mist involves a bunch of goals with it. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. The stats look good. He's a right profile player. It's just a case of, what can we have? But it's nice to have some positivity, so we're going to remain positive because, he's had a good season, been very good for Wolves, and it sort of fits what we're trying to do. So that started things off. Then the next thing that happened was Bruno's off to Saudi Arabia. Oh, my God. Will he go? Will he not go? Should you take the deal? Should you not take the deal? There's been endless discussions I've had with people about this during the week, and I can see both sides. I think there is an argument for Bruno to go to use that investment to rebuild the team to go forward. But then there's also the argument that without Bruno Fernandes, my God, this season could have been an even worse disaster, which isn't worth thinking about. So where were you sitting, Grimmy, with the whole Bruno Fernandes to Saudi Arabia this week?
At the start, when I first said it, I was like, oh, please, God, no. Like, don't let this happen, because he's the one shining bit of hope that we've had all year. But then you go, he's turning 30 next year. How many times are we going to get an offer for him? And how many times are we going to get 100+ million for a player? And his wages are pretty pricey now, because considering he just signed a new contract. I think it's close to 400,000 a week. Again, he does earn that, like in terms of what he does for the club and what he does on the pitch. I can't argue with that. But when you consider the finances that we had, and you consider what we were needing to do this summer, I think if Bruno left, that would be the spelling of we are restarting here. This is a totally fresh approach now. But I personally, if they came to me and said 150 million for Bruno, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, we can cover this now, and we can use what we've got in terms of money, but we can also add 150 million to bring in a few more players and maybe just start afresh. I would have taken it. But having Bruno there and then Cunha and maybe a Pueblo, we'll see. That kind of excites me a little bit to think, oh, we might actually have a bit of flair on the pitch going forward, and we might not be a total train wreck next year, and we might finish 11th. Bring it on.
A sniff of the top half. There could be a sniff of the top half. I think
top 10 finished. Dare I dream?
Top 10 finished. I think the problem is even when you look at the fees, and I was looking at it going, well, okay, they might be able to barter it up a little bit, as you said. If it's those kind of figures, then of course I would trust you, Grimmy, with it, your football manager excellent, to go and spend that money in a very sensible way and rebuild my team.
Yes.
However, because of what's happened with Manchester United over recent years, and I know it was pre-Ineos, a lot of the transfer shenanigans and nonsense and Woodward and post-Woodward and all of that, they haven't got a lot of real estate of trust with Manchester United fans because of what we've done in the past. We've overpaid, we bought the wrong players, stupidly long contracts, over-the-top wages. Yeah. There's a list of pretty much everybody since and before Bruno Fernandes hasn't really worked. Last time I was the only one that actually we're quite happy with, but obviously it didn't do an awful lot because we didn't end up in a great season either. So you can't exactly say that, wow, we've done it. So was that a worry for you that, okay, if they did get that money, okay, we've seen and we'll come on, obviously Brian and Mbeumo is another one that's kind of being mentioned. It seems like the better, right kind of signings, Premier League experience, but you also worry that we'd be taken for mugs again. So we'd be like, here comes Man United with their big pot of money. Here's my price.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't think you can ever receive a transfer fee for Man United players and not worry about how it's going to be spent, considering the past 10 years. My other concern with Bruno, my main concern with Bruno staying is where he's going to play, because unless we get like a really good central midfielder to play with him alongside in that two, I don't think the long-term answer is Bruno playing in a two in midfield. I think he has to be part of that front three. The solution I've had in my head is you make Bruno the one behind the two and don't make it a 2-1 at the front. You make it a 1-2, and then it's Kuna and Mbeumo up front with Højlund maybe or Xerxes or whoever rotating in that front two, and change it that way around. Whether that would work or not, I don't know. But that's the only way I could really fit Bruno in, because I wouldn't start him on the left over Kuna or right or wherever they put those two players coming in. I wouldn't put Bruno in front of on those number 10 positions, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I worry about is if he's just going to shoehorn Bruno in, is that going to be detrimental to the team, or is he going to find a way to get those three in all at the same time and get it to work? Obviously, more importantly,
it's the blend, isn't it? You're wondering how do you fit that with Bruno? As you said, like I like the fact of like, and we'll talk about Mbeumo as it's coming in. If Mbeumo happens as well, which is you've kind of got a player that will kind of run on, which we haven't had that either. Kind of, and that makes sense. You could then get away with a Xerxes because he drops in and we haven't had that kind of going on beyond. Then there's questions over what does that mean with Amad Diallo? Does that mean that we've definitely settled on him as a right wing back? Like that's a question that would be asked as well. And then you said, yeah, Bruno, I don't know, because as we've seen, Ruben ain't changing. Ruben's been like, and certainly if he's got a transfer window, he ain't changing. He's going to go to fit that system now. So it's a very, very interesting one. David said nothing like positive thoughts. There was glimpse of hopes in United in some games. Well, they actually played, to say, I think Liverpool away and like from the City games, we beat the City. That was all right. And we beat Hong Kong. We've beaten Hong Kong. They're a country.
Wasn't that Liverpool game like 7 months ago though? Like it's been a long time since there's been some hope.
That's how long ago there were flashes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
8 minutes against Lyon, we were quite good, but
yeah, I think it looks like we're backing him, and we've just got to have faith that he gets it right. And with a full summer preseason, he can get it right. And fingers crossed, he does. Because if we have a horrible start, my God, is that pressure going to ramp up on him? It's going to be, if we thought the news outlets were bad now on the pressure, it'll be a damn sight worse in August and September. If we get to that international break in September and we're in the bottom three, holy Lord, it might be Sean Dyche time.
It'll be real good night Vienna, won't it? It'll be desperation state.
Break glass for short emergency.
You can see it as well. I think we're the only ones looking at the fixture list, and everyone looks for their rivals and whatever. And we're looking at that start, going, "Please, God, please give us something that we might be able to work." You just know it's going to be like Everton away at their new stadium on day one, absolute raucous. Then it will be like home to Liverpool or something, and it will just be like it'll be like minefield after minefield after minefield. Not that there's any
First-
easy games in the Premier League, but you know what I mean.
First 3 away games will be Everton away, Liverpool away, and Leeds away. And it'll be just absolute bedlam. And it's just going to be like, oh my God.
I don't think we're having home games for like a few weeks because I don't think our stadium, like the hospitality's still being built.
We'll swap it round then.
Don't
It'll be
quote-
Elland Road. It'll be Elland Road first.
Don't
game.
quote me on it,
of course
but-
it will, yeah.
But I think
Oh.
we're trying to get quite a few of our like first matches scheduled for away because we're not doing any pre-season at home either. They're both away. So yeah.
Might not be, but
But don't quote me. If the fixtures come out and you do have us away first match, that's just what I've heard.
I'll be straight going, Rebecca, what's this? What's
We'll
this?
have a
False
list printed and
promises?
shaking it at the camera going, what did you tell us, Rebecca? What?
Fake news, Rebecca. What's all of this?
Because there was photos of the hospitality and it's like just like stone. Like there's nothing built in it yet. So unless they can get that sorted before the start of the season, but it's not long.
It's not actually that
We'll
long,
wait
is it?
and see.
No. We're already in
Well,
June.
how long-
We're only
how
talking
long
2
is it?
months.
Yeah, it's
2
only like-
months.
No, I mean, I was going to say, sorry, I forgot to add the last part of my sentence, which would have helped, was the fixtures coming out. It's usually in around middle of June, isn't
I
it?
think it's mid-June or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks. I think it's not.
It's
not that
usually
long.
it's usually
Yeah,
around my
almost
birthday.
once.
That's how I remember, because it's like
Mm.
I'm either getting a nice birthday present from the Premier League or I'm getting a horrible start, and it's like
I like that it's early because it gives me time to prepare season graphics. As soon as the fixtures are out and there's stuff I need to do, I'm like, right, let's go. We've got 6 weeks. Let's crack it all on until they start mucking around with TV and everything. And then you're like, I don't know what's going on. But there's something to look forward to for that. So
18th of June it is,
get that in your diaries. Look at that.
9:00.
Oh, that means we've got a big because it's my daughter's sports day on Thursday, and if it's raining, the reserve day is the 18th of June at 9:00. So that's not going to work. So pray for sun on Thursday. Otherwise, I'm going to have a clash. I'll be like, I've missed the long jump because I'm too busy checking who Crystal Palace are playing in November. So yeah, there's lots of excitement still though in that transfer window. And a question I'll ask you, Rebecca, because obviously we've done United a little bit. This is United referring, but Jadon Sancho won't be staying at Chelsea. So they've decided, they've offered him to stay at a reduced wage, what I believe. They've offered him to stay at a reduced wage, and Sancho said, naff off. I'm not having any of that. So Chelsea have paid the £5 to get £5, the £5 million pounds. Cheeky.
We can get a meal deal.
This is like doing £5 instalments every day for the next 90 years. £5 million to give him back to Manchester United. Is this where are we at now with Jadon Sancho? Because it's another not good look. Like, is anyone going to take a punt? Because if he's wanting these wages, and I'm pretty sure that Chelsea weren't offering him, a baguette and a packet of crisps. I'm pretty sure it was handy. What do you think now for Sancho?
I'm really not sure because it's not working for him at the minute. Like different things going on, so it's like it doesn't like picture well. So it's going to be interesting to see what does happen because you can't really see him getting in the United squad. I don't know what you two think about it, but it's like the setup of the like current squad and everything. It just doesn't seem to be. He's like, you don't want to say he's not like. It's just like he just doesn't seem that he's going to see.
Ooh.
But then you can see him going elsewhere. I think my Wi-Fi keeps dipping in and out, which is very fun.
It does. Well, hopefully it will settle and we can come back. But my word, the transfer window goes fast because look at this. Unbeknown to the scenes, a new addition to the team. Da, 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 da. It's the wonderful Dan. There's a man who's in the Premier League. Hello, Premier League man. How are you?
I'd be a lot better if I didn't come back from football injured. But other than that, yeah, I'm all right.
What have you
All
done,
right.
Miss Sponge? How have you injured yourself?
So I've chased the ball down the left-hand side. The guy's gone and turned me and stood on my back foot as I've gone to go. So because he stood planted firmly on my foot, I've twisted the top half of my leg to go with the momentum, and now I've got shooting pain all the way up the top of my leg. DP'd it. So yeah, I had to come off for the last half an hour, so I wasn't happy, but
Oh dear.
it happens. It happens. And you know what? I scored an absolute worldie as well. In the rain, in the down rain, and I scored a worldie. I was well happy.
Then
I should have just walked off at that point. I should have walked off at that point.
Said life
Could've
gets
gone,
no
that's
better.
it, I'm done. But knowing my luck, I'd have got run over or something on the way home. So
Well, it means it's a pleasure because you come and join us as we're talking. We're talking the Premier League, of course. Dan is Premier League now. He's back. The
What's
Burnley
that?
man is back. He's back indeed. Do you know where to find it? Where this Premier League is?
no, we'll have to go to VAR.
I'll have to go. Don't talk about VAR. God, we'll set all sorts of people off. But it's a good start. We'll come to Burnley, man. But we'll give your opinion because we were just talking a minute ago about Jadon Sancho. What do you think about his future? Because he's turned down Chelsea's offer, which means that Chelsea have given Manchester United. We discovered it's £5 million, not £5. It's £5 million. He's come back to United. What now for Jadon Sancho? Because this is a guy that surely would have been thinking World Cup next year. If I do well, maybe I can get back in the reckoning. But now, who's taking Jadon Sancho?
I mean, it's clear and obvious that he's not going to be a Manchester United player come the end of the summer window. He has to go out. You know, Ruben's doing a job of getting rid of the dead wood. It says something when we're only a couple of months back that Mourinho said, that Mourinho said along the lines of that this player's still there that he wanted rid of when he was there. So, in regards to Sancho, I couldn't really particularly look at any sort of club. Maybe if I had to pick, I'd say Leverkusen probably need to do a rebuild, so Sancho would be a good option there, maybe.
There isn't Ten Hag's at Leverkusen got in there, though, so that might not.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, I don't know. He's not really... The transfer merry-go-round last season was strange anyway. Like you say, Sterling, at the top 6 clubs all giving each other players left, right and centre. It was a bit weird. So Sancho for me, I don't know. Depending on the player and his ego, I'd take him at Burnley.
Take a bit of Sancho. I'd have to tell you, a chunk of that wages we want to get rid of. We're all about money. Get rid of that man.
How big is he? What's he on?
300 plus. 300
really?
plus a week. Yeah,
it's
not
silly,
cheap.
It's a silly package. Yeah.
Buy a new house in Burnley every week.
What Chelsea were offering was pretty handy as well, by the sounds of it, considering the season he had. But he's obviously had his head turned. So if not Sancho, Dan, what are Burnley doing? Because like we know last summer, you loved a good transfer. What's the plan this year? Because you've got a number of loan players that then turn permanent, haven't you? Fleming and Co already in, aren't they? Yeah,
Fleming, Edwards, Anthony, and I always forget one of the 4. We did have 5, but we sent Jeremy Sarmiento back to Brighton. But yeah, Edwards, Fleming, Anthony, and Bashir Humphries from Chelsea. All come through the door, and I'm happy with that because if you look at the way we abused the loan system under Vincent Kompany, there were a lot of players in there that I wanted us to sign permanently at the time. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, I wouldn't have minded permanent. Nathan Teller, need we say anymore? But everyone's saying this time round, bring him back. But now that this winger's leaving and Bayer Leverkusen losing players, he's got more chance of game time. So I'm hoping we can do something because obviously the rumours of Trafford now linked with Chelsea and Newcastle, and then we're looking at a Turkish keeper from Trabzonspor, I think. I've got his name saved on my clipboard. Just
on your transfer list of deals. Just for you
something or Kakia or Sakia.
And welcome to Shah's with us as well. Hello, Shah in the chat. I hope you're feeling better. Along with Dan's just running through his transfer notes. It's important,
But we've literally been linked with 4 players. We've been linked with Casper Dolberg, which I thought is an interesting one. The only one out the four that I've heard of. The rest all sound like Wi-Fi passwords. So Valverde Bongeli or something, and Otar Kitishvili as well as another one. So
Okay.
this is what I mean.
Kittishvili and Bongella on their way to Burnley.
Bongella on the way to Burnley.
Yes, exactly. Which is pointless because we all share one set of teeth. So what's the point?
What's that all about? Outrageous. So it looks exciting, and you must be excited, of course. Like fixture day, is that a big one for you? With Rebecca has promised us, so just to make you aware, that Everton can't play at home on the first couple of days of the season. So we're all looking out carefully. If that first day of the season, Everton are at home, we know what we're asking.
Who
do you want?
It's allegedly. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yes, we've gone to allegedly now.
Don't quote me. I even added, don't quote me on this.
Who do you want down day one? Because usually they pair the promoted sides with the teams that won the league or Champions League, etc. tends to be. Who do you think you're going to get? Who do you want?
Yeah, I want to say probably Liverpool at the turf. I think, like I say, going off recent years, and we've had, I think under company it was written, wasn't it? Burnley against Manchester City. Of course, it's the season opener. So it won't surprise me if it's someone like that again. But we've got to play everyone twice. I know that sounds very cliche, but I'd rather get the teams that, while momentum's high from promotion, play someone that we've been promoted with already, get them points on the board, and build into it. Instead of there's so many ways of looking at it. Get the top six out the way, and then focus on the others. But if you're not in form, how are you going to beat the teams around you if you're going to keep losing? I think defensively we're a lot more structured, solid. We'll have learned a lot from our promotions in the past. A lot of people are saying don't bite the hand that feeds you. This is Scott Parker. Scott Parker in the Premier League don't work. A bit like Blackburn Rovers in a full stadium. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year. But out of the three that have been promoted, I fancy our chances based on our defensive structure at the moment. But hoping that CJ Egan-Riley is still a claret. But he's available, isn't he? So
it's available. Has he been talking to French? He's looking for some lovely French weather and some. It's a sell. It's a sell.
I can understand the Strasbourg link because at the time, I think some of they're semi-owned by people, the company who own Chelsea or something out there. But when the link came about, I thought, okay, can't blame him, European football, but they've now missed out on that. They've missed out on European football. So does that also have a pull of, oh, well, do I just go apply my trade in the Premier League? There's no further incentive. It's going to be a long slog, but in fact, just had a notification from Burnley Football Club. Oh, nothing interesting.
Scott Parker's gone. Oh, what?
Last day of a kit sale. Yay!
Hey.
You never know, though. It might be the one. You go, it's a big move. And Graham wondered how long the first Blackburn would take. Well, he's got a whole season of them.
Trust me. They get better. I haven't posted it yet, but
he's got another list of the digs ready to go.
No, not even digs. This is video footage live from Ewood Park.
Oh,
he's going for it early.
I'm creating them and I'm getting them in for when they start getting in the chat with their digs. So got to get them in.
I do have one question for you, Dan. I think you know which player it's going to be because it's a Dundee loanee. Do you think Adewumi will be getting a chance in the Burnley squad, or can you see him going back out on loan? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be another loan. I think they'll be impressed with what they've seen. I think the season that he had up there and the links that we've got with Dundee now will stand him in good stead. So I hope he goes back there. I think that would do him a favour, having a second season, because it's all well and good being a one-season wonder, but try and do it again. I think last season Dundee did pretty well. Is it Scott Murray up top? Yeah. I mean, he had a brilliant season, so I'm looking forward to Simon Murray.
Yeah.
The only reason I knew is because I was playing FIFA earlier and I saw his name. Ginger hair, ginger beard. Say no more. But yeah, I've obviously got that affiliation with Dundee now, with Burnley having a bit of loving up there.
We knew we wouldn't go without some Dundee transfer news. We needed Dundee transfer news. And Charles says you can save them digs for Thursday. # not leaving us. Right, I'm applying for shared custody. I want shared custody. That's all I want. I want my fair share of time with Dan, and you can have your fair share of time with him on a Thursday as well, Charles. That's all I ask.
So I was thinking, as long as I get the paternity payments, I don't give a shit.
This is well, yeah, that might be a struggle, but I pay in love, that's all I can give. That's all I can give. It's not a lot, but it's what I try and give. So any other news you've heard, Grimmy, Dan, anything else you want to transfer wise that you've heard that's come out? Grimmy, in Manchester United, we mentioned in Bremer and a few others. Anything else that you've heard that might happen that you'd like to happen apart from people leaving the club? That's sort of the thing we're all looking at, isn't it?
That's the main thing. Is Rashford apparently he's linked with Barcelona and then had a link with Inter this morning, I think. Obviously we'll see what happens with Sancho. That's going to be one of the main interesting ones for me, because I think we're going to have to pay to get him out. Basically, I think we're going to have to either say to somebody, if you pay halfway, we'll pay the other half. Which might be the way we have to go. Anthony, of course, he might go back to Betis. Obviously, there's
Everton would be a good place, I think, for Anthony to go. Don't you reckon? I could see him, Anthony and Alcaraz, Rebecca. They could strike something up. You want a bit of Anthony at the new stadium?
If he plays like he did at Betis, I think anyone would have him really. But I just don't think the Premier League suits him really. I just don't think he's got the pace for it. But yeah, we'll see. More outgoings is what I'm wanting to see now, and see how we go about, because if we can get some decent money, then maybe we can do something else in the summer. We'll find out.
This is it. There's plenty. Graham wants to know who's going to do those double podcast weeks next season. To be fair, we've got a few. We've got a few. Shah says she'll be up there. There's no doubt Shah will be up there because she hosts two for starters. So that's straight off the bat.
I play football on a Tuesday, Graham. So if I can rush back and literally change out of wet clothing and put a different Burnley top on, I'm going to end up with a cold tomorrow, but still, I'm here, dedicated.
And he's injured, so he came off early. The rumours that we paid off someone to get him to go off actually completely unfounded. There'll be plenty, I think. We've got Dan doing a couple. Rebecca, obviously, is on Thursdays, or I appear on a Thursday. I think Grimmy can go wherever he likes as well. If he suddenly wants to talk about Blythe Spartans on the non-league show, it could happen.
If they ever get back to National League North, I'll be there.
This is it, you see. It's an opportunities pod. Opportunities for everybody. And we'll go back to the chat because there was a few things from earlier I wanted to touch on. So Nick was talking about the Botafogo link. They have a South American scouting team who owns Botafogo. John Textor, who also owns Leon and a minority shareholder in Palace. And talking of Palace, Graham has said, do you think there's any mileage and the Palace might get kicked out? I think he's hoping there's any mileage. And Nick says they were talking to UEFA today.
Why are they getting kicked out of Europe?
Because it's the ownership links again, isn't it? We had similar. We had the similar that City got round with Girona, and then we had the Nice and Manchester United with Radcliffe yesterday. But I can't imagine.
Strasbourg. There you go. Like this, everyone's doing it now. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
There's no way Palace are going to get some sort of disqualification or something where they've been penalised without Everton getting a points deduction. That's just not going to happen, is it? That's how that's how it works. As we've discovered.
It'd be a real shame for Palace not to get it for something silly like that when they've gone to the effort of beating City in an FA Cup final and giving us United fans something to cheer about in a final, which we couldn't do ourselves against Spurs. So just let them play. Just get on with it.
Just let them play. Charles says, yes, Jen's on double pod duty as well. She does. Graham's got Shah as the favourite to be top, but Rebecca, Jan, Dan and Ant will be up there too.
I feel like I'm letting the side down being a solo night guy.
Yeah, he's
Jesus.
just a one pod man. Just a one pod. He knows where his bread's
faithful
buttered,
to that
and it's on a
Tuesday.
Tuesday night.
Grimmy, like Rick Astley, one hit wonder, but everyone loves it.
Yeah.
This is it. It's the one. It's
Never
the
going to
one
give
and
Sam
only.
up. That's it.
That's it. I'm here for life. I'm a lifer. If you believe it, it may happen. I don't know what Graham's talking about, but I believe it. It might happen. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows indeed? But we will be doing soon a season review. I'm just trying to get hold of the wonderful Lucas, because if there's one thing that I want to know, I want to know that man's thoughts on the Arsenal season and that man's thoughts on Mikel Arteta. And we're going to leave you teasing that until it comes, because it's going to happen. We're going to get Lucas's thoughts on it, which is,
Hit record as soon as he enters the chat, because he might vent off camera and then be calm when you get him on. So
Yeah. As soon as he starts talking, turn all our cameras off and then just let him go. And this,
yeah.
Just put it on the big screen. Just have him.
I just won't look at him in the green room. Just be like, I'm not talking to you yet. I'm not talking to you yet until we get on. Not missing this. Not missing this moment. But wow, I think we've done pretty well to cover an hour and 15 where there's been no Premier League. We talked Champions League. We talked transfers. We had Dan join us as well to talk to us. It's wonderful. It's very exciting. And we were going to talk England. Did you want to talk England quickly, Rebecca? The England squad. I know you wanted to touch on it quickly.
I mean, if we want to, I mean, it's just one of them, isn't it? It's the same that we've had all of the other international breaks. But my main point is, and this, you always know it's going to be an argument. Who is England's number one, and who do people want to be England's number one?
This is probably a good timing with Dan coming on, actually, as well, with a contender, a young contender for the crown.
I understand that there are up-and-coming talents, but at the end of the day, Pickford has done nothing wrong when it comes to England. And this is going to be one thing, and I think this is like the main thing that affects him is Everton and where we finish in the table. Because you always know, and they always say that there is a bias when it comes to a lot of picking the England squad when it comes to higher up in the table. You see a lot more players from there. So it has always been a thing of, and when looking at team selections, in the fact that, for me, I'll point out like Jared and Tarkowski, over the past few international breaks, they should have been in this squad and didn't get a look in. And it's one of them where you can base it on where we are in the league. But there is now coming up with the argument of, should Pickford still be England's number one? Which, James Trafford, incredible season for Burnley. And I'm not trying to insult him or anything.
I'll say it before you say it, Rebecca. He would not have had that season without the two defenders in front of him.
Yeah. And it's also a case of different leagues, different style of play, different everything that comes along with it. Dean Henderson, congratulations, winning the FA Cup. Should he have been on the pitch to win it? That's for debate. But it's one of them where at the end of the day, has Pickford done anything wrong for England? No, I don't think there should even be an argument until his retirement is starting to be announced. And I feel as though it's just going to be one of them where, yeah, we've got good goalkeepers coming up. Incredible, at least then we have someone that can take over from him. But there is no argument as to who England's number one is, because it is Jordan Pickford, and that name will always be on that number one shirt.
There you go. As you said, very good keepers that have had very good season, and I can understand why there's a clamour in for them. But particularly in goalkeeper, you can't replace the guy from England unless there's a real reason to do it. And Pickford's never given anybody a reason in an England shirt to do it. If he starts, then drop in and whatever, then there'll be that discussion and they'll be right on the toes. And that's what those goalkeepers have got to hope for. But like it is, I don't think it's Pickford is number one. There isn't really a debate here, in my opinion. I think it's fair. There's a lot of good English goalkeepers at the minute. It's lovely. What a wonderful thing to have. It's better than having no good English goalkeepers, which we did have for a number of years, in my opinion. So it's nice. It's nice to have a bit of confidence with that. But Grimmy, you looking forward to England Andorra?
Can't wait. I'm almost looking as forward to that as much as I am the Club World Cup, to be honest. Like, my anticipation is just killing me right now.
It is something else. And, can England do what Man United did and beat a country? Man United beat
Whole
country. Whole country.
Teddy.
Some would argue bigger than Andorra. You know what I mean? Like that's a game we'd all love to see. Who knows? We'll ever get that chance. They're expanding the World Cup, so probably one day when we have 1,052 teams in it, and it goes the entire calendar year. But FIFA get their way. But there we go. England will play. It's going to be exciting. Very exciting. What is exciting has been having all four of you. We've had a quadruple. This is a real quadruple we've had on the pod tonight. Of course, this summer we're doing some random stuff. I'll touch this week on what's going on the other pods because it is a bit sort of higgledy-piggledy. We're rotating it around. It's all going on. But Rebecca, where can everybody find you and all of your wonderful stuff?
You can find my personal Twitter and TikTok, which is _Rebecca_short_. You can find my Her Game 2 content at HGT. Her Game 2 ASFC or HGT ASFC. I'm not sure because we have to change the Twitter. So it's one of the two. And then you can find everything Scottish Prem Dundee related as well because that season starts a bit earlier with the cup.
As you've discovered, Rebecca's Scottish League Cup roundup's coming up very, very soon because it is very, very soon.
Actually, we'll miss one because I'll be at the pre-season with Aki and Everton.
Shocking.
So I'll write it down.
You're not even going to pick a side on that one either. Shocking.
Slacking. We'll have to get Grimmy to do the Elgin City forfar right up for that week.
But I will be at that
already myself
as well. So it'll be to miss the podcast. It'll be quite sad.
Oh, Blythe Spartans have got Gretna FC coming from the former Scottish Premiership team. Apparently, we've got them coming for a pre-season. So.
We haven't even announced ours.
I know. Last year we got the end of July. We hadn't even announced any. Yeah,
that's true. That'd be a good one. Blythe Spartans versus Gretna. But of course, where can everybody find you, Grimmy? Of course, if they hit that bat signal in the sky, Grimmy arrives with his Batman t-shirt. Yeah. Where can everybody find you?
They don't shine it on a Monday or a Wednesday or a Thursday. That's why I'm never seen on camera.
It's just on a Tuesday. Where are you? And what's the game of choice on the Grimmy YouTube channel at the minute? What's next up on the?
At the minute, it's F125 because that's just come out in the past week or so. So doing some career mode on that. Also starting a stream every Thursday with a co-op career mode with somebody, which could be interesting. So if I'm crashing into people, it's because they're either trying to take me out or I'm just really bad at the game. It's one of the two. So that's the main place, St. Grimmy, the YouTube channel for that one. And the other place mainly I'm doing stuff on other than here is the wrestling channel, which is Taking the Pin, which is with our good friend Bragster, Sam, as you know. And he's away in Malta, so the responsibility of any videos going out this week is solely on my shoulders. So that'll be fun.
The pressure. Slacking again, Bragster, outrageous.
On a lad's holiday with 15 other lads in Malta. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly keep an eye on that man? Keep an eye on that man. And of course, it is Dan, the Premier League man. He's with us. He's joining us again ahead of ready for a new season. Where can everybody find you in your wonderful, wonderful stuff?
That wonderful stuff that's been on the back burner for about 3 or 4 months. But other than that, I'm going to get it back going. It's just going slow. Got to get this right to get into it. But yeah, just at Turf Morehouse on all social media platforms, and like I've said, usually everywhere but OnlyFans.
There you go. One day it'll surprise you, and it will just appear, and it will be.
I actually said the other day I was debating making a cooking channel called Only Dan's.
Oh my days, that would be amazing.
Only Dan's, that'd be epic.
Literally, no t-shirt, just a penny.
Oh, subscribe right now. It's just what I need.
Chef hat would work.
Yeah, I need some sort of hat to cover up my bald head. I'd look like Harry Hill otherwise.
Imagine that your day's just sintering out into nothing. It's been a pretty bland day, and then that ping notification, and it's Dan and the chef sat in a penny cooking.
It's down with a microwave meal.
Ping.
This isn't just any meal. This is a Tesco microwave meal.
Extra value.
All on 8.
This is it. They're all in it. Everyone wants to sign up. There you go. Membership flying in already.
Almost as much as Lucas's calendar.
Oh, yeah, well, that's insane. The pre-orders on that are a joke. That's why we had to postpone it till 2030. Just unbelievable response. So that's it. Do check out all the wonderful team with that stuff. I'm Sam. I'm an @Sam Absolute FBL. I've actually released some stuff on that channel this week. I've been looking at the Club World Cup, Grimmy. I've been looking at it just to try and get some information and some excitement about it. I'm still there, but I've had a go to try and build it up and to have a look. So at the very least, like, I don't have a dog in the race, so it's going to be a nice tournament from that aspect. You know, it'll be a nice break. It'll be something different. So I've been doing a little bit of that, and outside of that, I've been doing the podcast stuff because there's plenty of podcast stuff. And we've been looking at some exciting stuff around the corner, which, of course, Dan's been helping me with some lovely graphics. Congrats, Dan, with the Dreety, giving you the credit for the Dreety announcement as well. A fantastic little video we had to announce. So we've got some fun graphics going on. And this is a bit different in a minute. So we are still providing shows weekly, some live, some not live. It's going to change. Tomorrow, the Women's Football Show is pre-recorded, but they've done a season review of the Women's Super League. Well, it will be once I upload it after this. It will be on tomorrow at 8:30 in their usual slot. So you can check them out, talking about all of the teams. Yeah, they went through it. It's a good long episode, as we usually get from the Absolute Women's Football Podcast. So they have gone in every nook and cranny for everything that's happened in the season. So check them out tomorrow. And on Thursday this week, it's going to be the absolutely non-league show. She had to postpone it sadly yesterday, so she's back on Thursday talking about the playoff final. Oldham versus Southend. So she's got a few of the funky non-league show team joining her on Thursday for that. And do keep an action on the socials, and we'll keep you apprised of what's happening week on week. Because some weeks we'll be doing live, some weeks we'll be doing different stuff. It's just, it's all go. It's all go. And Euro 2025 is around the corner for the women as well. So we'll be covering that too. Not on this show because it would be trash, but the proper people who know about women's football will cover it. So it'll be much better. So check them out. We are, of course, the best new content creator from the Football Content Awards. Yes. That was magnificente. And you can catch us on Twitter, Absolute Ball Pod, at YouTube, Absolute Football Podcast, as well as Twitch. TikTok, Absolute Football Pod. Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _ on Absolute Football. I think we're on Blue Sky now and again. I haven't posted in a while, but we're still there, apparently. And
every now and then.
Just too many socials. Not enough time, Grimmy. Just not enough time. We do what we can, but do check us out on there. And if you do, hit a like and a subscribe. It's nice, as Josh says. An angel gets its wings every time you hit that subscribe button. And that's a wonderful, beautiful thing to see. And we keep Josh alive through the podcast with that motto always. And Graham says the lucky west side of Wembley strikes again. So that has been the key dressing room to be in if you've been in the playoffs or keeping tabs on that. So there we are. But for now, thank you everybody for joining us. Have a wonderful week. We will catch you soon. Take it easy. Hope for football transfers. And remember, Everton will not be playing away on the first day of the season. Will they, Rebecca? No. See you soon. Ciao for now.